Good morning. This is Rod Huffman, husband of Kim Huffman. I have been forced against my will to create something for Valentine's Day, which is going to be my cheapest exit out of the holiday in the history of mankind. So I am grateful for this opportunity. So far, I had this brilliant idea that I was going to create a card without any actual words. So it's kind of a guess what the hell it says kind of thing.
Tell the story with the pictures.
It took quite a while. It was only about 8 hours of stupidity, not knowing what symbols I could use for words. I came across this stuff with some suggestions from the wife, from some of her fabulous stamps, which I have no idea how to use. She gave me this thing that you see in front of you, this big gray massive machine, which I'm supposed to use to stamp these things on there. Here I am trying to get through these plasticky, rubbery stamp things. I had never ever used anything like them before. I've seen her use them. I've never really paid any attention, but here I go trying to create things with them. I think, given the space, I was allowed to put these things on there. I didn't crush anything. It looks like the dies actually survived. So
Those are stamps, not dice.
stamps. Sorry. I totally know what I'm talking about because now I've made a card. I'm a professional.
And then you're inking it up.
I'm inking it. Yes, that's an important point.
With my favorite things, Extreme Black ink, which is an alcohol marker friendly ink.
That does sound totally not shamelessly plugged. Um, I tried to make this work in an expedited way. She got this down from what seems to be flowing very smoothly down from its. I
3 hours of footage down to 16 minutes. You're welcome.
3 hours. I can't imagine how many people would actually survive if she let this roll in its full video footage. But I did manage to get these stamped. It only took me, as you can tell, there are like 4 seconds to professionally color these, or it took me like, well, it's about an hour of coloring. And
What did you use to color? Spectrum Noir.
I use very expensive markers my wife likes to purchase because I don't like things like lunch or gas for my car. It's much more important to have these Spectrum Noir, and they are quite pretty. They do pretty things, as I guess pretty markers do. And to me, I can go to Walmart and buy the dollar pack that gives me
That's
50
so not
markers.
remotely the same thing.
I get it, I
No,
guess.
you don't. He didn't even want to shade, guys. He just used one color.
I stamped these things. I thought I was done. I had no idea that there was going to be coloring involved. And then she's telling me I got to use different papers for different colors and different inks, and I'm like, can't I just stamp crap and fill it in and then glue it on stuff? But no, it doesn't work that way. So I'm using an actual. What is this paper I'm using?
Spectrum Noir paper.
So I'm shamelessly endorsing Spectrum Noir with their paper, their markers, some special ink stuff, which I had to use to get this ultra black lineup on these things. I did find the stamps to be very cute. I thought the bear was awesome. I like the argyle colors that I chose because I'm just a genius. Um, I did a fantastic job getting these things, and yeah, no,
He did do a nice job coloring.
I am a terrible, terrible artist. I have less than second grade capabilities. Again, she did bring this down from 3 hours because what you're seeing on fast forward is me coloring at moderate speed. Could you imagine if this was at normal speed? It wouldn't surprise me if you just like, no, I got to kick the chair. I'm out.
Imagine if your husband had your craft area for like 3 hours of the day and was holding it hostage while you were helpless to watch nearby.
I don't think you were helpless in this process. You were quite mocking me the entire time.
I was not mocking him.
Totally mocking.
I don't mock.
She mocks. It was definitely an experience for me to never do again.
Oh, shush. This is going to be a regular feature on my channel.
Well, it was nice.
He just doesn't know it yet.
Check, please.
So what are you doing now, dear? You're putting more color.
Yeah, it looks like we had a lot more footage of me coloring just aimlessly with no end in sight.
Aimlessly.
What?
Not aimlessly. Why don't we talk briefly about the stamp sets that you used?
Oh, sure, because I know what's going on. This is Polar Pals, My Favorite Things.
By My Favorite Things.
By My Favorite Things. Now, here's the thing. I needed a bear, and that was the cutest bear she had. She's like, now it's a polar bear. I'm like, not today. It's a brown bear, and it's going to be. And it's not going to wear fun colors. It's going to wear argyle like it's the 70s.
What's this one now?
Now we've got Rub-a-Dub Lawn Fawn, which I used for Rub-a-Dub, which is the company Lawn Fawn.
Nope, this is the wrong stamp set. I grabbed the wrong one.
You suck.
You used the Hey There set from Lawn Fawn for the sheep.
Okay.
These are the ones that I used for Holly's baby shower invitations.
Then why did you...
I didn't mean to grab it. It was just in my hand. I grabbed the wrong one. And then the little bee came from...
Windmill, Avery Ellie?
Avery L.
Avery L. What the L? Where did... Is that all the stamps?
Yeah, those are the stamps that you use. He used some other images, but we'll see that in a second.
You don't want to see those. It's just not good.
So what are you doing now, babe?
It looks like I'm setting up these cutty metal things.
The dies.
These are the dies, which I improperly used earlier in the video.
Yeah, you swapped the die and stamp as you were...
Because I know all these things.
Because you're an expert. So, and he's going to be using the Gemini cutting machine that he got for me a couple months ago for the first time.
Yeah, it was much better than trying to continually crank the things out because...
The Cuttlebug.
The Cuttlebug was fine. It was manually intensive, and she has like half a shoulder, and I hate doing it, so it was a win for both of us.
So... you like the Gemini.
I do like the Gemini.
Hubby's my hero. He found it for $35, was it, babe?
I did find it on an online yard sale site. It was stupidly low priced. I think the person had no idea what it was worth, and then talked them into shipping it, which was great, so I didn't have
Including the shipping, I think we paid like $60.
Yeah, I think... And it was in like new condition with the exception that I guess she used the dies like upside down or something.
The platforms she had used a little bit incorrectly. So we do have to replace those because they sustain some damage. But
here I am tapping my finger waiting for the Gemini, but still it's way better. I just shoved the thing in there and it just takes it done. And like magic, do you see how quickly it cut all of those out? It was just like that. Awesome sauce.
Okay, so these are the other images that he brought in. So I didn't have...
We didn't have stamps for the craziness that was in my head, so we had to find some, and then we used the Cricut.
We uploaded some images, some clip art that we had Googled into Cricut Design Space, and just did the print feature. We didn't do the cut feature because we didn't want to take the time to make that work, and just to do the print feature in black and white so that he'd have some images to color. And because our printer ink is not alcohol marker safe and it's not watercolor safe, he had to switch coloring mediums. So you see him here using just regular cheap Crayola colored pencils to color this particular set of images.
This was about 10 minutes of conversation going, why the hell do I have to keep switching papers and why does this matter? And I had the pretty markers and now I'm using these pencils, some of which... were less than color transferring. So what looks like I'm coloring in 10 seconds was...
Hours.
Yeah, it took like an hour to color all these things in. Like, I have that kind of time. I was really happy to lose the entire day to concept.
Oh, shut up.
To drawing.
That was his fault. He spent hours planning this and sketching this before we ever even took anything out to start the project. Hours.
And when you see the final product, you'll understand my genius. It's undeniable.
We're intentionally being vague about some of these images and
We're not talking about what's going on here. One, there is no shameless plug involved in images we printed off Google. And two, I think it's fun to try to figure out what it says. Cause
he tells a story with the pictures, and then we'll have a close-up photograph at the end of the video that'll zoom in so you can look at it, and he's going to do a giveaway to whoever can guess what it's supposed to say correctly. That's why
You're just not going to figure this out.
Oh, shut up. Other people have figured it out, so you guys are going to get it. But here he is fussy cutting it.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's keep up with the process here.
I am cutting things with these cool scissors, which I originally used upside down for a significant amount of hand cramping.
He's using the Tim Holtz snips, the ones that are serrated on one side.
And they work pretty well, as long as you don't mind. Again, this sped up process makes it look like they're being cut quickly. It took, I think, 3 days. I had to break for showering and sustenance because I thought I was going to die. But I did persevere and survive this process. Not very well. Still dealing with the emotional scars.
Oh, shut up. All right, so now what are you doing? This is the best part.
All right, so now I'm using distressed oxide inks on this paper, and I was like, I don't have any idea what I'm going to do with this thing, I want to put it on the background. So, though the background is pretty, it really doesn't have anything to do with the full conceptual message that I use, but
He just wanted to play with inks and make a rainbow, because I like rainbows.
That's partially true. I did. She showed me this, what looks like Lord of the Rings tree thing here, and it looked pretty awesome.
That is the tree stencil that came with a Hero Arts kit last year.
I thought it was cool, and I'm like, how can I take this and make it more fun? So we did go with rainbow colors. Again, absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the actual product itself as far as the image.
He just wanted to make it pretty, guys.
I did make it pretty. I will take total credit, like I hand drew that thing and didn't use a stencil, and then just take these foam tip things that you gave me and stamp the hell out of it.
Finger daubers from scrapbook.com.
Finger daubers, and they worked pretty well. I was impressed. All I had to do was just continually pound it against the paper thing.
And why? Do you remember why I told you not to move back and forth?
Because it would peel up the sides of the...
That is correct. What a good boy.
Yeah, well, they didn't get to see the one I destroyed, so... I had one that I did before.
This was his second take, but in the first background didn't come out right, but it had nothing to do with his techniques. It was because it wasn't dry enough, and we tried to heat and emboss over it, and it kind of ruined it.
It did look pretty good, because I was going for a snow look, and that went well, because I took a white piece of paper, and I covered it in white embossing powder, and then I turned the whole thing white, which... didn't really give much to look at after you destroy what the image is supposed to be.
I thought it still looked cool, though, because some of the rainbow parts was sticking out, but...
Yeah, you had these vague shadowings of color after everything else was white. And, if you wanted to read it like Braille, it did have a nice texture, but visually, it was mostly a white piece of paper with a white background, which didn't add much to the pictures.
All right, so now what are you doing? He's placed all the things that he wants in order of...
I'm using this awesome glue,
glue,
half on the camera, because I had no idea where I was actually filming
Despite the fact that I repeatedly told him where to pose things for the camera, he did not. So he's using glue to...
I'm adhering the pictures to the background, which we've created to create my sentiment here.
Your statement. Your pictorial sentiment, we've decided we wanted to call it.
Our pictorial sentiment, yes. That's...
What was that old game? What? The old board game that used to be a TV show?
Well, the old board game that was a TV show.
Was it Conversation? Was that what it was called?
I don't know.
Concentration. Thank you, Leah, from the background. The board game Concentration, you know how you try to make a statement using just pictures. That's what this is. There's a sentiment for me in those pictures.
I think they're going way overboard. I think it was more of a...
dork.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of cute, funny. I wasn't going for Concentration, the board game, though.
I wasn't saying that was your point. I was saying that I was just trying to tell anybody that's old like we are that it's kind of like that, same idea.
But again, you can see all of these images that really don't have anything to do with each other, and or the colored tree background that doesn't really have anything to do with the pictures themselves. Actually says something.
For me.
For her, which I have to say, in a very dorky way, it was a fun project. It is 8 hours conceptualizing, followed by 3 hours of arts and craft. I will never have that time back, and I will deal with that loss. But it was moderately fun. It did give hours of giggles, and now I've only had to, after editing, do 17 minutes of monologue.
You didn't have to edit.
All right.
Now that's bullcrap.
Let me take total credit. This is a husband's job. I get to, say, yeah, this is totally all the stuff I did. See? All right, yeah, it was... I don't think anyone could actually survive the original footage. It was long.
And I had to endure it.
She only endured it for, she had 3 hours, but she had to watch over and over again.
And then I had to edit the video down from 3 hours, so...
So she's probably seen that 3 hours, 24 hours.
Times.
To bring it to 16 minutes so you could all go about your lives in
What
an
year
orderly
is
manner.
it? I don't get it.
Yes.
We're going to start working on next year's Valentine's Day project right now.
I should be able to finish by next winter. Here we are using the
Fiskars bypass cutter.
Because of how awesome I glued that piece of paper onto the other piece of paper, I totally didn't cut the end so it looked better and looked more smooth because I'm just good like that. But no, it looked very shabby. But, once you take a guillotine to it, it looks better.
Off with its corners.
Well, it makes it look like it's a smooth surface, and it's intentional. And dun 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 dun. The finish card.
Upside down.
That was totally part of the plan. I'm awesome.
So
my presentation is awesome.
We're going to have a more stylized close-up shot of this so that you can get a good look at it. And then we'll be back in a minute with a giveaway. Say thank you, honey.
Thank you, honey. So, we're just...
Say hello.
Hello. I guess this is how we say hello. In reference to the brilliance that is my card, we have decided that if you can decipher my madness, that you should win a prize.
The first person to guess what this says and leave the comment down below, and remember they are time-stamped, the first person that guesses correctly will win a little prize that we've put together, a little prize packet. Honey, show them what they can win.
Tell them what else they've won, Bob. It looks like stuff that you'd find in your junk drawer. What is that?
Just little plastic embellishments.
Plastic embellishments. How could you possibly live without these? I know that you'll be doing some due diligence to figure out what this card means, decipher, and use the stuff to your liking. This is just incredible.
All right, move on.
Moving on. Gemini. Ooh, set 2.
A little set of dies that came with my Gemini that I don't use, but they're kind of springy, so I thought they would make for a good theme to give away.
You could make an entire Easter embellishment with this thing alone. It's worth the price of free.
Yeah, it's just a flower. All right, move on, dear.
Have a heart.
Stencil.
This is the stencil. These are cute. Can I just keep these?
I have another one for me.
Oh, all right. You can have these stickers.
Little buggy stickers.
Buggy stickers. They're not all bugs. That's a bird.
Whatever. Okay, move on.
Moving on. More stickers.
Oh my gosh. Look at the poodle. It's so cute.
More stickers. Okay, and then what are you holding in your hand, dear? The last component.
The pink glimmer?
Pink glimmer lacquer that came from a Hero Arts kit recently.
Hero
that I never
Arts
used.
kit?
Yes.
Oh.
Because I'm assuming it's like Nuvo drops, and I already have a ton of Nuvo drops, so I set these aside to give away.
These can be yours for the price of...
So we have...
That's right. You get the embellishments.
Shush.
You get the Gemini. You'll get the stencil, but wait, there's more. Not one, but 2 sets of stickers.
All right.
And...
So, how to win. United States only. You must be a current subscriber to the channel. Please have your channels not hidden so that we can verify that. Click like on the video and leave your best guess on what this says down below, and the first person to get it will win the prize.
Can you treat that with more respect?
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.